Okay, number 18. How many days old was Abraham Lincoln when he died? We can use date diff to get this number, the number of days between his birth date and his death date. So the difference here is that we are pulling data from an underlying table. And so we'll have column names. This is coming from the president table. And, okay, using date diff to calculate the number of days, so our unit is day, between the day he was born. This is a column in the table, the DOB column, the date of birth. Oh yeah, you can see it here. This is the last query I ran. Between the DOB, date of birth, and the death date, that's another column in the table. So just getting the number of days between those two dates, again, selecting from the president table where pres name, that's another column here, is like Lincoln. So I don't, yeah, the names are like all, in one field there. So I'll just use the wildcard to isolate his name. Okay, so that's how many days old Abraham Lincoln was at the time of his death. All right, and then let's see, number 19, we have which presidents were born on a Friday, display all columns. We can use date name for this. This is one that we used in a previous video when I used it to find out the day of the week I was born on. We can do the same thing for the presidents. Again, pulling data from the table, and we are using date name. Again, interested in the weekday, working on the date of birth, whatever day they were born on, and we want to know who was born on a Friday. So whatever, if the product of this is Friday, that person makes the cut. So how many? 3 of them, okay? 3 of them in the table, I should say. Again, there are other presidents not in this table. All right, so that was number 19. Number 20, which presidents died in the same city in which they were born? Okay. Actually, this has nothing to do with date and times. I don't know why I put this in here, but what the heck, let's do it. This is selecting from president where the birthplace is equal to the death place. That's all. Who are they? These ones. Okay. Number 21. Get a list of presidents who died young, and by young I mean under 60. Display all columns. So, okay, we do have to use a date function here. I would use date diff again, date diff, to see, well, let's take a look here. Okay, we want to know where the date diff, looking at years here, between the date of birth and the death date is less than 60. Let's run that. Just those 2, okay? And assassinations. So, yeah, that's interesting. Okay, and then let's see here, number 22. Oh, yeah, this one. All right. Let's see here. Use the IIF, the immediate if function. I think I used this last week on the fly, but let me recap the syntax here. You have the immediate if function, okay, to make a kind of a snap decision in your code. You have a condition, some kind of true-false condition, and then the value, if true, the value that you're going to plug in if that condition ends up being true, and then the value if false, if the condition ends up being false. Okay, so let's look at the question again, so see if we can situate ourselves here. So, all right, so using this to categorize the presidents as either modern or pre-modern. So modern presidents are typically those who served post-World War II, so 1945 or later. Obviously, these are not hard definitions here, but just for the sake of this problem, we'll consider modern era presidents are post-World War II, and anyone else before that we'll say pre-modern, okay? So let's see. Okay, so I guess we're going to, there's really no way, notice I don't have like the dates they were in office. but we're going to just go kind of like loosely go by the inauguration age. The average inauguration age, believe it or not, is 55 years old. That's an average. Obviously, some are much older, some are a little bit younger. And so we'll just use a birth year of 1890 as the cutoff point. See why 1890? Because if somebody born in 1890 would have turned 55 years old in 1945. All right. So look, the point of this is using the immediate if function. So let's focus on that, not all these stipulations that I'm throwing in here. Sorry about that. So let's do it. This is, I'm kind of pick this apart a little bit. So we're just selecting all columns, and then if the year they were born, using date part to isolate that year they were born. This is the condition here. If the year they were born is greater than or equal to 1890, the value of true is by these qualifications are a modern president. Okay? Or else, if this is false, they were born before that, we're going to call them a pre-modern president. Okay? So that's the immediate if. So let's do it. We'll run that. And these are the designations we've come up with. Okay. And yeah, there they are. So there you have it, your date time functions.